Stop for a moment and think about the last time you genuinely wanted to help someone but felt completely drained or overwhelmed afterward, like you lost yourself in the process. In my research of Jung's work, I found that this tension between wanting to support others and maintaining your own boundaries can be deeply connected to what Jung described as the shadow and the delicate dance with individuation. When I dive into Jung's clinical observations, it becomes clear he was intensely aware of how many people struggle with losing their own identity in their desire to help others. He noted that this often stems from unconscious motivations such as fear of abandonment or a sense of unworthiness that get projected onto relationships, making the helper inadvertently codependent rather than truly supportive. This is not just a modern-day problem, but a timeless human struggle that Jung uncovered through his patient work and his concept of the unconscious that influences our behaviors even when we think we are acting purely out of goodwill. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel the weight of this truth. Jung discovered codependency often flourishes when our own sense of self is fragmented or underdeveloped. Helping turns from an act of generosity into a compulsive need to fix or control because the boundary between self and other blurs. In my study of Jung's writings, I've seen how he emphasized the importance of recognizing these unconscious dynamics by bringing them into consciousness so that one can develop healthier patterns of relating. The key insight here from Jung is the necessity of a strong, differentiated self, the core of individuation, which means becoming aware of and integrating parts of ourselves we have rejected, especially the shadow aspects that contribute to these unhealthy attachments. Jung once worked with a patient who so deeply feared losing love that she became a martyr in relationships, always sacrificing herself until she was empty and resentful. Through Jung's method, she began to explore those shadow fears, face them, and gradually build a more autonomous identity separate from her need to be needed. This story highlights how Jung's approach is not about abandoning the desire to help, but about transforming it so it no longer serves hidden wounds, but a conscious choice rooted in wholeness. Put yourself in this situation I'm about to describe. Imagine trying to support a friend who is struggling deeply, but you notice that your efforts leave you feeling exhausted and anxious. From a Jungian perspective, this is your psyche signaling that your boundaries are breached and your unconscious dynamics are activated. Instead of pushing harder, Jung invites us to pause and reflect, to examine what parts of our own shadow might be demanding recognition, perhaps an inner child afraid of rejection or a projected inner critic urging you to please at all costs. Unlike many psychological models that focus solely on overt behaviors, Jung's insights dive into the symbolic and emotional layers behind codependency, showing us that it is an intricate dance between self and other, deeply tied to our personal myth and archetypal patterns. This makes it an invitation for meaningful personal transformation, not just behavior change. So, how do we practically apply Jung's wisdom to help others without becoming codependent? First, recognize that Jung championed conscious awareness as the foundation. Becoming curious about your motivations and feelings when helping is a powerful step, so start observing moments when you feel overwhelmed or resentful. Next, Jung developed techniques like active imagination, which encourages dialogue with different parts of the psyche, including shadow elements. You can practice this by journaling or creative visualization to explore what inner fears or desires might be influencing your helping behaviors. Third, Jung stressed the importance of establishing boundaries grounded in self-respect, not fear. This means learning to say no compassionately, acknowledging your limits, and realizing that true help cannot come from self-sacrifice, but from authenticity and inner balance. Another practical approach Jung recommended is engaging with your personal symbols and dreams. These can reveal unconscious patterns of codependency and guide you toward differentiation. For instance, I had a student who dreamt repeatedly of being caught in vines, symbolizing entanglement in others' problems. By working through this symbol, she started reclaiming her autonomy and found healthier ways to support loved ones. Lastly, Jung believed that community and relationship with others who understand your journey can serve as a mirror and support system essential for sustaining these changes. This can be therapists, friends, or groups focused on individuation work. Remember, Jung always held a hopeful stance that despite the suffering caused by unconscious complexes, every person has the potential for wholeness if they embark on the path of self-discovery with courage and patience. Let your willingness to help be a spark for your own growth, not a chain of dependence. In essence, Jung's message is clear. Helping others without losing yourself requires you to become more aware of your inner landscape, face your own shadows, and commit to building a distinct identity where you can engage with others freely and fully without unconscious entanglement. This is challenging but profoundly rewarding, and it's what Jung saw as the essence of psychological maturity. To sum it up, Jung wanted us to remember that true help flows from wholeness, not from neediness, and that only by becoming whole can we truly contribute to the healing of others. When you apply these insights in your life, you open the door to healthier relationships full of authentic connection and mutual respect, which is exactly what Jung envisioned. Now imagine how empowering it would be to not only help others effectively, but also to grow your own selfhood in the process. As you explore this richer way of relating, I invite you to stay with me for our next conversation, where we will uncover what are the signs of a successful individuation process. This topic is essential because individuation is precisely what underpins the healthy boundaries and balanced helping we just explored. Knowing these signs will support you to recognize your progress and continue moving towards psychological integration. I encourage you to like, share, and comment your experiences with helping others without losing yourself. And please subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into Jung's enduring wisdom. Trust me, this journey is one of the most profound personal transformations you can undertake, and tomorrow's exploration will be a crucial next step to fully embody this path with clarity and confidence.